Hi and welcome to Jump into Augmented Reality at Ada Scotland Festival 2021. We hope this will provide a great introduction to augmented reality and its current creative uses and what that will mean in the future. We're going to finish up the session with a lesson in Lens Studio from Snapchat so you can get an intro into making your own AR filters without needing to know lots of different software. So my name is Graham and I head up the creative production team at Whitespace, which handles all the animation, video edits, 3D and interactives coming through Whitespace. I'm joined by Alina, who's our editor and motion designer and has a lot of experience making AR filters. We haven't had a group shot like this in a while, but if you're working at Whitespace, you have the support of a great team of people, each bringing their unique talents to the table. We have an active social committee organising events like our summer and Christmas parties, and lots of social clubs and opportunities. Our office is in the centre of town right next to the castle, so it's not too hard to find. It's a great place to collaborate face to face or get a quiet spot to work. Since lockdown has happened, we adopted a more flexible way of working, so you can work from home all the time if you like. But if you need to come in, we have new soundproof booths and professional webcams have been installed in all the meeting rooms. We share the space with some of our partner agencies in the Dentsu network that we're a part of, giving us access to global work opportunities. We're always looking to help nurture diverse talent in the creative industry. We're involved with Daydream Believers, hosting events and volunteering speakers, and helping to develop content. It's a free, ready-to-use online resource bank for educators that utilize creativity, creative thinking, and problem-solving techniques applicable across the curriculum and beyond. The idea is to get creative thinking used in all career paths, but also to open up the idea of creative industry as a career path from a younger age. The Oven is our 2-month paid internship program, which is a fast-track way into the industry without necessarily having the experience. We hire in account management, creative, digital marketing, user experience, and development. So it's not just limited to the creative team. Applications are closed for this year, but it's an annual event, so follow our social channels to apply for next year's. And it never hurts to reach out via email to get you on our radar. Another reason to follow our social channels is our Whitespace Women events, which are a great opportunity to network with other women and hear about women's experience in the creative industry. You can get some solid advice and support in taking that first step in a new direction. I've been involved with the portfolio reviews at these events before, and they're always worth doing, as we might be able to refer you to creative companies that would be a good fit. We've had a few streamed events over the last couple of years where you can tune in wherever you are, and there's a link here to the last online event, which was called Courageous Conversations. So for our first piece of work, I have Portal AR. So one of our team members had been making some tech demos of portals in AR that had been getting a lot of traction on Twitter. Off the back of that, we pitched the concept to Visit Scotland, who said yes, and we had some help with the new AR tech from Google. We wanted to transport potential visitors, students, workers, and investors from anywhere in the world to the Scotland of now. The app was built in Unity, which is a game engine, and that allows us to publish on both Android and iPhone and save on development time. We had previous experience creating a VR Visit Scotland app and a road safety game for the Scottish Government in Unity. If you want to check those out, there are some case studies on our website. The illustrations in the app were produced in-house by illustrator Katie. She also helped the client visualize how the experience would work with storyboards and concept art. Here's a short video showing it working. Next up, we have Lego Minifigure Hunt. So this was an app also developed in Unity, and the animations were created in a 3D program called Maya, which is great for character animation. Lego sent through us the models, and they were very particular about how they should animate. They were very prescriptive of the 2 lines of Lego toy they wanted to promote. If we were to build this experience now, because of advances in technology, we would have some options open to us to use perhaps web AR and not require users to download an app. We'd still need to account for heavy data use and whether users would have a Wi-Fi connection in the store. Tea Tenor was a self-promotion piece that we produced in Snapchat. We wanted to cover all aspects of Burns Night and keep the bard relevant to a modern audience. If you have a Robert Burns £10 note, you can activate a few verses of his famous poems, read by Rabi himself.
Fair figure on a sonsy face, great chieftain o'er a pudding race.
Most recently, we did some pro bono work for Malaria No More UK and Zero Malaria. Here's a short intro to the work Zero Malaria aims to do.
Malaria, I don't like you! Two-Face. Too smart for you. Malaria
malaria don't even dare take our future with you.
Malaria, you can't stop us!
Nothing will keep these lines from growing. We are the generation that can end malaria.
It's time to take our future back.
So Zero Malaria has a very bold visual identity, which Laulu Senbanjo created. He'd worked with some very famous people, Beyonce, Serena Williams, Daniel Brooks, and Alicia Keys, to name some. The Malaria No More UK team and our friends in Amsterdam, Dentsu Actung, were keen to utilize Laulu's artwork in a filter. Alina built the filter in Spark AR and adapted some key artwork that Laulu had produced for the campaign into face paint designs. So the design changes each time the user's face is found in the camera view. So by waving your hand across your face, you trigger the next design to animate in. Influencers loved using this face filter. So AR isn't just about face filters and promotional work, it has some very practical uses for the future, which we're starting to see just now. We got to the far distant future of 2015 that Back to the Future 2 showed, but yet to see actual holograms like this. Pepper's Ghost and other so-called holograms don't count. Many people see AR as the real alternative to this. If you want to move 3D models of mechanical components around like Tony Stark and build components virtually with your hands, you can now wear this fairly bulky Microsoft HoloLens headset, or the equally cool looking Magic Leap. These allow for virtual training in engineering, surgical training, property tours, immersive therapy. The field of view is only part of the full view of the headsets, and the image is nowhere as clear as this example. It's more similar to the kind of blue hologram look in Star Wars. It's very see-through. The headsets cost thousands of pounds and often need an expensive PC to run them, so we've got a long way to go. On a more affordable level, Snapchat have these odd-looking glasses for recording AR content on top of a recorded stream. They've recently put out these, which look straight out of the cinema. And the field of view is very small and looks like this. But it can produce video like this one. We're seeing a lot of progress in light estimation from a camera feed, taking the view from the camera and making the model look more part of the scene using the light calculated from that. A lot of people are waiting for Apple to release wearable AR before it becomes mainstream, and we'll start to see more tangible competitors. They're keeping very quiet about it right now, other than a few patents that they've released over the years. In the future, you might see examples like this helping you get to your destination, or much further down the line in a contact lens form. With machine learning getting better, why rely on directions when you could just have the pavement light up in front of you showing you the right way? And with digital products being created to help online purchases of furniture becoming more common, in the future this could extend to clothing, where you can view your new outfit in a mirror before you order it, or augmented windshields on your car, negating the need for road signs or even traffic lights. At the moment, you can produce AR apps in Unity and Unreal for both Android and iOS. Instagram, Snapchat, and soon TikTok will all provide open developer tools to create entertaining AR experiences. And on the web, Eighth Wall currently provides a way of having interactive AR without any need for an app, but it's currently behind a paywall. It's going to get easier to do web AR without the need for paid platforms like this as web standards improve. We recommend trying Spark AR Studio for Instagram or Lens Studio for Snapchat and Snap Camera on desktop to get started in AR. Both of these provide a lot of great examples, and there's lots of large communities online to help you out. I'm going to hand you over to Alina now, who's going to run you through creating your first filter in Lens Studio.
Hi everyone, I am Elina, a motion designer and editor at Whitespace, part of the production team. In this lesson, we will create a split face effect, and we will apply a material to it. We will be using Lens Studio, a software for creating AR Snapchat lenses, also known as effects. Let's have a quick look at the interface of the software first. When you launch it, you will first see the homepage, with a variety of templates ready for you to customize. I highly encourage you to have a look at them, since they will be the best way to get started with the software. When trying out some of the pre-built templates, you could experiment with changing out materials and meshes. Sketchfab is a good resource for trying out 3D models, but be sure that you have permission to use them and you give an attribution to the creator who has done the model you are using. In our case, we will start with a blank project. The interface of Lens Studio consists of several key panels. The Objects panel, it shows the objects that you're currently using. You can add objects by clicking on the plus icon, Add Object. You can also add face effects from this menu as well. The Scene panel, which look very similar to some 3D applications. In the Scene panel, you can see the object position in 3D space. Resources. Importing your own assets such as textures, sound, scripts, and etc. Preview panel. Here you can preview how your effect is looking. For this purpose, you have various options, using the default photos or videos to preview the lens, or using your own web camera. Let's see how you can navigate around the Scene panel. The panning tool. You just need to hold your mouse wheel or to click on the hand icon here. With this tool, you can drag your scene around. If I want to go around in a circle in my scene and see the objects from different angles, I need to press down and hold the right button of my mouse. With the Move tool, you can move around the objects in your scene, and with the Rotation tool, you can rotate them at the 3 axes X, Y, and Z. Now, let's briefly talk about these X, Y, and Z coordinates and what they represent. For example, X-axis will move your object left and right, Y-axis up and down, and the Z-axis back and forth in space. The Lens Studio documentation has a short description and a shortcut for each tool on that page. Okay, so let's get started. First, we need to prepare our material assets in Photoshop. If you don't have Photoshop, you can use GIMP, a free image editing software. Let's first have a look at some of the key tools. This is your Move tool, and if you hover on top of it, you will see a little video with an explanation how it works. This is your Selection tool. It comes in different shapes. This is the Lasso tool, which is a freehand selection tool. Basically, all the selection tools allow you to make a selection of a specific area of your image. This is the Object Selection tool, which will save you lots of time as it finds and selects the object you aim at within a certain area. I'll demonstrate you soon how it works. Here is your Layer panel, and from the plus icon you can add more layers. A layer essentially is a transparent sheet onto which you can draw or you can add elements and drag and drop images, for example. Also, you can stack multiple layers on top of one another. We need to create a square canvas. Mine is 1024 by 1024 pixels. Then we need to divide it in 4 squares: top left, bottom left, top right, and bottom right. I will use the guides in Photoshop to mark how we will split it later. Now, we can import an image of our choice, or you can draw your face design if you wish. In order to be precise, I'll use the Lens Studio Mesh template. You can find it on their website, so that I can position the eyes and mouth in the right place. I'm lowering the opacity of the image so I can see better the mesh and adjust as needed. Then we'll bring back the opacity and we'll switch off the rest of the layers apart from our design. Select the rectangular marquee tool and make the 4 square selection. Then press Ctrl or Command J to create a layer with the selected portion of the image. Repeat that step for all 4 small squares. Then I'll use the object selection tool and I'll select both eyes and delete the content of those selections. Once you're ready, export each square as a PNG and don't forget to name them properly: bottom left, bottom right, top left and top right. Finally, we're ready to get back to Lens Studio. In order to continue, let's get familiar with the concepts of face mesh, face material and texture. So, face mesh is a 3D object that has X, Y and Z coordinates. Material, on the other hand, is the surface of that object. It can have different properties and qualities and it can interact with light. Texture is a flat image. For example, the square PNGs that we just created are our textures that we'll use in a moment. Now, let's add a face mesh to our scene. And also, import the 4 square PNGs in the resource panel. Since we want our face design to split in 4 parts, as I've showed you earlier, that means we need 4 face meshes, 4 materials, and then to assign the 4 squared PNGs to those 4 materials. Let's first duplicate our face mesh 3 times in the Objects panel. Then, duplicate the face materials 3 times in the Resources panel. Now, I'll start renaming them so they match the PNG names and it's easier to identify and link them together later. We also can start adding a texture to each material. Simply drag the relevant PNG to the texture box in the Inspector panel. After that, we need to add those materials to each face mesh. Then, I'll rename them so everything is organized. We are now ready to animate our face design. We'll be using twins. Twinning, or also known as in-betweening, allows you to change position, rotation, or another aspect from one value to another, and the Twin Manager will figure out what goes in between those values. From the Add icon in the Objects panel, we need to select Twin Manager. It may take some time for the twin to appear in our Objects panel. Then, we need to delete the examples since we don't need them, and to move the twin above the camera. Next, we need to go to each face mesh and add a component, then add script, and then select the Twin Transform option. What we can do is, after adding the first Twin Transform to the first mesh, then we can configure all the settings and just copy-paste it later to the rest of the face meshes. So, name the twin in a way that matches the relevant face mesh. Assign it to the scene object. In this case, our first is bottom left. Then uncheck play automatically, we don't need this. Select loop type ping pong once. And now we can copy and paste it to the rest of the meshes. And the only thing that we need to change is its name and to select the relevant scene object. Next step will be to add a behavior. Now, behavior defines when and what should happen as a response to a trigger. In our case, we need a face event. Let's see how that works. First, from the Add button in the Objects panel, search Helper script. Then choose Behavior. This automatically added a behavior to our Objects panel and in our resources. Now we will select what the trigger is. Basically, it says what the person using the filter needs to do in order the animation of the effect to happen. Let's create our effect so it responds to a smile. In the Inspector panel, we will set the conditions under which the effect will be triggered. As mentioned earlier, for a trigger we will select a face event. As an event type, let's choose Smile. Of course, you may wish to experiment with the others. I will select a smile in that case. Response type, Run Tween. Target object, select the first face mesh. In my case, that's bottom left. And then name the tween so it matches the object's name. Now we will duplicate the behavior 3 times, as we did before with all the materials, for example. We'll go through the same process here. We will duplicate it 3 times and we will rename them so they match the face meshes. And we will change the target objects for each of them. Okay, great work so far. One more thing is left to be done, and that's to change the position value of the tween transform. What this will do is, basically, when the person smiles, the 4 square textures will split and move forward in space. To achieve this, simply use the following end values for the position of the tween transform. For bottom left, we will set -5 and 5. Bottom right, 5 and 5. Top left, -5. And top right, 5. Now let's change the preview to one of the default videos where a person smiles. And here we go, our effect is working. Don't forget to organize your assets. Here I will speed up a little bit, I will remove the unused assets and I will organize the rest in folders. Now you can save your project. Well done, you just completed your face lens. Let's go back for a second and see how the effect would look like if we change some of the end values of the tween transform. If we change the bottom right and bottom left values to be only 5, 0, 0, we will get a half face split effect. Or we can make all of the meshes to move up and forward. To achieve that, you should change bottom left to -5, 5 and 0, bottom right 5, 5 and 0, top left -5, 5 and 0, and top right 5, 5 and 0. Now that you have everything set up, you can experiment and see how you could further customize it. Once you're ready and you want to publish your lens, you just need to go to the menu here. Then you'll be prompted to log in or to create an account. Once you do this, you have access to this pop-up window where you need to name your lens, add preview and a button for your effect. You can also add a hint, which is basically a text on screen which will tell the user how to interact with your lens. And then hit submit. It will take some time Snapchat to review your lens before it becomes live. Thank you everyone. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Bye for now.
Thanks for watching our augmented reality chat. I hope that's been useful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to email us or reach out to Whitespace on social media and we can try and help you out. Thanks.